Students, in previous lecture we started new chapter electromagnetic induction, and in this chapter we studied self inductance. Self inductance is the EMF is induced due to change in flux in the same coil in which the current is changes, and related articles we studied in the previous lecture. Today we are starting with mutual inductance. Now in mutual inductance, two coils are kept together and current in one coil is changing. EMF is induced in the neighboring coil. This phenomenon is called mutual inductance. Remember students, in self inductance, the current is changes in the same coil, flux is changes, and EMF is induced. This happens in a single coil. Here two coils together. In one coil current is changes and EMF is induced in neighboring coil. This phenomenon is called mutual inductance. Diagram: coil 1, coil 2. Coil 1 contain rheostat, key, battery. This diagram is for mutual inductance. When key is closed, the current is passes through the coil. When current is in the coil, the flux in the coil is goes on increases, means it changes. Once the flux is changes, EMF is induced in the coil. This is the self inductance, and due to the current in coil 1, the EMF is induced in the neighboring coil. Here is the galvanometer. Galvanometer indicates the flux is changes and EMF is induced in the neighboring coil. This phenomenon is known as mutual inductance. The same thing is explained over here. Coil 1, coil 2, as I said, when the current is in coil 1, the flux is changes. This flux is linked with the coil 2 and EMF is induced in the secondary coil. This is the mutual inductance. So the definition of mutual inductance is: mutual inductance is the phenomenon of the production of an induced EMF in one coil due to change in current in the neighboring coil. This is the definition of mutual inductance. Now we know that the flux linked with the secondary coil is phi s. We already studied it in the self inductance, that is, the flux and the current is directly proportional to each other. Here flux in the secondary or flux linked with the secondary is phi s. So we'll write this M is directly proportional to, sorry, I is directly proportional to phi s IP, that is current in primary, and due to this current in the primary, the flux is linked with the secondary is phi s. It is in direct proportion. Proportionality sign is removed and M is the constant, and the constant is known as mutual inductance. So according to the Lenz's law, we'll write EMF induced in the secondary by differentiating the flux in the secondary with respect to time. Lenz law we already studied in a previous lecture. So phi s is MIP. M is the mutual inductance, IP is the current in primary. So we'll write minus M dip by dt. Negative sign indicates that the mutual inductance or the change in flux in the secondary is opposite to the EMF which is induced in the secondary. So as we studied in self-inductance, uh, this ratio gives us the mutual inductance. Ratio of the EMF induced in the secondary to the change in current in the primary with respect to time. This gives us the mutual inductance. So from this equation, one more definition is mutual inductance can also be defined as the ratio of induced EMF produced in the secondary coil to the change in current in the primary coil. Now definition of 1 Henry. Unit of mutual inductance is Henry. Uh, Here from this equation, the EMF induced in the secondary is in volt, and uh, change in current with respect to time will write ampere per second. Now by rearranging we'll write volt second by ampere. Volt by ampere is ohm, therefore here we'll write ohm second, and this ohm second in the honor of the scientist Henry. SI unit of the mutual inductance, even SI unit of the self inductance is Henry. So definition of 1 Henry is if 1 ampere current is passes through primary for 1 second, the EMF induced in the secondary is 1 volt, then the mutual inductance of two coils is 1 Henry. So this is regarding to the mutual inductance. Again, a simple topic. It is same as to the mutual inductance. Only the difference is in self inductance a single coil is there, and here in mutual inductance we have to consider two coils in together. Now the next article is coefficient of coupling between two circuits. When two coils are together, then how the flux is linked with each other in the coil, how the EMF is induced in the secondary coil, that we can explain with this topic. Coefficient of coupling K is the measure of the portion of the flux that reached to coil 2. We know that current in the primary, it changes the flux, and once the flux is changes, EMF is induced. This change in flux in the primary is linked with the secondary, and the EMF flux is changes in the secondary and EMF is induced. So how the uh, flux reaches to the coil 2, or how many flux is changes in coil 2, that we learn with this coupling, coefficient of coupling. The greater is the coefficient of coupling, the greater will be the mutual inductance. So capital M is directly proportional to EMF in secondary due to change in flux in the primary. That's why it is E to 1. I repeat once again, mutual inductance is directly proportional to EMF induced in the secondary due to change in current in the primary. So E21 is induced EMF which is developed in the coil 2 due to the portion of the flux in the primary reaching to the coil or secondary coil. Even you can say coil 1 to the coil 2. Portion of the flux which change in the coil 1 reaching to the coil 2 is the EMF in the secondary, and that will write K51 means flux which is changed in the primary, it links with the secondary, that's what we'll write K51. Now induced EMF is also proportional to the number of turns of the coil. Definitely what number of coils are there in the secondary, uh, on that the EMF induced in the secondary is depends. So N2 is the number of turns in the secondary, and K51 actually this is phi 2, that is change in flux in the secondary, but it relates to the phi 1, that is the flux in the coil 1. That's what our equation is. E21 is directly proportional to N2 K51. Now what number of turns are there in the primary? The flux linked in the primary is related to the number of turns in the primary. Therefore flux in primary or in coil 1 is phi 1, and it is in direct proportion to N1. Definitely we will change this phi 1 uh, N1. We'll write N1 over here. So our equation becomes E21 is directly proportional to N2 Kn1. And next, definitely N is the number of turns, and we studied in the self inductance, that is self inductance is directly proportional to square of number of turns in the coil in self inductance. So definitely from this we'll write N is directly proportional to square root of the self inductance. This will use over here. N1 and N2 is directly proportional to square root of L1 and square root of L2. This is inductance, self inductance of primary, and this one is the self inductance in secondary. Here uh, self inductance is directly proportional to square of the number of turns, and here we'll write what number of turns is directly proportional to square root of the self inductance. From this statement we'll write N1 N2, that is number of turns in the coil 1. N2 is the number of turns in coil 2, it is directly proportional to self inductance in the coil 1, and square root of the self inductance in coil 2, sorry. Therefore the equation square root of L1 L2, if number of turns are same, or this E21 and M, that is mutual inductance, then relation between mutual inductance and the EMF in the secondary due to change in current in the primary, will write M is equal to K root L1 L2, that is self inductance in coil 1 and coil 2. So this K is usually less than unity. If K is equal to 1, then two coils are perfectly linked or perfectly coupled with each other, means number of turns may be same. We'll write M is equal to root L1 L2. Mutual inductance and the self inductance is related to each other. From this equation we can conclude it. So here if the K, that is the constant, uh, you can say coefficient of coupling. If it is uh, greater than 0.5, the two coils are tightly coupled. If it is K is less than 0.5, the coils are loosely coupled, and L1, that is the self inductance in coil 1, if it is equal to self inductance in coil 2, then uh, the coil with self inductance means the self inductance of the two coils will be same. L is coupled itself with mutual inductance. Just now we uh, studied over here. Now, from this, if L1 is equal to L2, that is self inductance in the coil 1 and self inductance in coil 2, if it is same, it is equal to L, then we'll write M is equal to L by using this equation. That is M is equal to square root of L1 L2. So this value of M, large value of M is desirable for a transformer, but not desirable for the applications such as electric cloth dryer. Dryer is there in your our home appliances, and this mutual inductance or coefficient of coupling, that is it depends on the value of M. Large value of M is desirable in transformer, but it is not desirable in the home appliances. Uh, how this is? See, flux is changes between coil and case of the driver. Coil and the case are the two different parts of the dryer. If there is the mutual inductance, means coil is the uh, suppose primary, and case of the dryer is secondary. When current is changes in the coil of the dryer, definitely the flux is linked with the case, and if the mutual inductance is large, then definitely it is dangerous, because the current will be induced in the case and it is harmful. So this we can neglect by uh, insulating the coil of the driver. If the coil of the driver is insulated, definitely the less number of the flux will be linked with the case, or uh, no flux will be linked with the case, and it will not be harmful. So dryer, in case of the dryer, mutual inductance should be minimized, and this we can minimize by insulating the coils. So coupling between two coils is never perfect. If two coils are wrapped by non-conducting material, then you can minimize the coupling. You can minimize the coupling. Coefficient of the mutual inductance, K is equal to 1. If two coils on two separate iron cores, coefficient of mutual inductance depends on the distance between the coils and angle of axis between the coils. Definitely, if we minimize the mutual inductance, coils are wrapped on the iron core. The mutual inductance is depends between the distance between the coil. If they are wound with the non-conducting material, the mutual inductance is minimized. If the distance between the coils is more, definitely the flux linked with the coils will be minimized, and uh, the mutual inductance is minimized, even it is depends on the angle between the axis of two coils. If coils are parallel, K is maximum. If coils are perpendicular, the K is minimum. K is the coefficient of coupling. This is about the coefficient of coupling between the two circuits, and it depends on the flux linked between the two circuits. If you minimize the flux which links with two circuit, definitely the K will be minimum. Now the next important article is the transformer. We are very familiar with the transformer on the roadside in the cities and the rural areas. The transformers are there, uh, which use transformer is used uh, to lower the value or to increase the high value of the voltage. Alternating current is there in the primary and secondary, so EMF is induced, and the uh, voltage is there in the primary and secondary. You can increase or decrease the value of voltage by using the transformer. So we'll learn about the transformer. Transformer works on the basis of mutual inductance. Just now we studied the mutual inductance. Once again, the EMF is induced in the secondary due to the current in the primary, change in current in the primary. This is the mutual inductance. So transformer is like this: iron core, and the primary coil and secondary coil is wound on this iron core. Just now in coupling we studied two coils are together, and if they are wrapped with or wound with the insulating material, the flux link between it minimized, so mutual inductance will be minimized. Again, mutual inductance is the current in primary changes, the flux will be changes in primary, EMF is induced. This flux is linked with the secondary, and EMF is induced in the secondary coil. This is the mutual inductance, and the transformer is work on this theory, that is theory of the mutual inductance. So construction is very simple. Transformer consists two coils, primary and secondary, insulated from each other. Uh, we have to minimize the mutual inductance. These wounds on the soft iron core as shown in diagram. Primary and secondary coils are called input coil and output coil respectively. Then working is very simple. Again, transformer is works on the theory of mutual inductance. When AC voltage is applied to the primary, current is induced, flux is changes. This change in flux is linked with the secondary, and EMF is induced in the secondary. This amount of change in flux is depends on the number of turns in the primary and secondary. Uh, Definitely we studied in the previous lecture how the change in flux is depends on the number of turns. Even this is related to the mutual inductance and self inductance of the coil. Uh, Definitely we'll learn the theory of the transformer. Now phi be the flux and it is linked. Number of turns in primary is NP, number of turns in secondary is NS. Um, 5P is the flux in primary and 5S is flux in the secondary. Now the flux linked with primary is, we'll write with 5P is equal to number of turns in primary and 5. 5 is the flux linked with primary and secondary. Flux linked with the primary and secondary is 5, but flux in primary is depends on the number of turns in the primary. So we'll write 5P is equal to NP5. Similarly, we'll write the magnetic flux linked or induced or change in flux in the secondary is 5S is equal to NS into 5. So the induced EMF in primary and secondary according to the Lenz law. EMF induced in the primary will write EP is equal to Lenz law, negative sign, and will differentiate the change in flux primary with respect to time. We'll get the EMF induced in the primary. So 5P is N5, therefore we'll write with negative sign NP d phi by dt, and similarly for secondary it is ES is equal to minus NS d phi by dt. If we divide this equation, that is EP minus NP phi d phi by dt and ES is equal to minus NS d phi by dt, we'll get uh, ES by EP is equal to NS by NP. Means the ratio of the EMF induced in secondary to the primary is equal to the number of turns, or equal to the ratio of the number of turns in secondary to the number of turns in primary. So this is the equation. It is called transformer ratio. Remember, EMF in primary and EMF in secondary according to the Lenz law, and if we divide ES by EP, we'll get ES by EP is equal to NS by NP. Now uh, for ideal transformer, input power is equal to output power. Power is not changes, and we know how to find the power in the circuit, AC circuits. P is equal to I into E, and in DC circuit P is equal to capital V into I. V is the potential difference, I is the current. Here we'll write EMF in the primary and current in the primary will give us the input power, and output power is the EMF induced in the secondary and current in the secondary. So from this we'll write ES by EP is equal to IP by IS. ES is here, ES by EP is equal to IP by IS. Now again you compare these two equations and we'll write uh, one combined equation, that is ES by EP is equal to NS by NP is equal to IP by IS. This is the transformer equation, or you can say equation of transformer, a very important part. Now the next part is case 1, step up transformer and step down transformer. When number of turns in secondary is more than the number of turns in the primary, definitely if the number of turns in secondary is more, the EMF will be more in secondary. So EMF is greater than the EMF in the primary. EMF of secondary is greater than the EMF in primary. If the EMF is more, the current will be less. Therefore current in primary will be more as compared to the current in secondary. This is the step up transformer. In step up transformer, current in primary will be more as compared to the current in secondary. Uh, then next is step down transformer. In this transformer, the number of turns in secondary will be less as compared to the number of turns in primary. Definitely the EMF in secondary will be less as compared to the EMF in primary. But current is, if the EMF in the primary is more, so current will be less, so current will be primary less, it is less than current in the secondary. So this is the step down transformer. So important topic from this chapter, transformer. uh, the questions will be there in this part in the examination. Even the examples are there on the transformer. Important article, and with this article we complete the theory of the chapter electromagnetic induction. We learn some examples. A horizontal wire 20-meter long extending from east to west is falling with a velocity of 10 meter per second, normal to the earth's magnetic field of 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla. What is the value of inductance, induced EMF in the wire? Sorry, what is the value of induced EMF in the wire? We know that when flux is changes with the material in magnetic field, Earth's magnetic field, and the wire is in motion, so flux will be changes and EMF is induced in the wire. So we'll see, uh, length is 20 meter of the wire, magnetic field is 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 4 Tesla. V is, that is velocity is 10 meter per second, and uh, this wire is horizontally in the magnetic field, therefore theta is equal to 90 degree. We have to find out EMF induced in the wire. So formula is E is equal to BLV sine theta. So use the values in this equation. B is 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 4, L is 20 meter, and V is 10, sine 90 is 1. So we'll write 10 into 10 to the power minus 3. It is minus 3 means milli, and EMF is measured in volt, therefore it is 10 volt. Simple example, for it may be for 2 marks, very easy. So this way you can find out the EMF induced in the wire when it horizontally falls in Earth's magnetic field. Now the next example is a metal disc is made to spin at 20 revolutions per second about an axis passing through its center and normal to its plane. The disc has a radius of 30 centimeter and spins in a uniform magnetic field of 0.20 Tesla, which is parallel to the axis of rotation. Okay, axis of rotation and magnetic field is parallel, and disk is rotating in the magnetic field. So we have to find out the area swept out per second by the radius of the disk and the flux cut second, we have to find out what the flux cut per second by a radius of the disk, and third, the induced EMF in the disk, that is E. These three things has to be find out. Disk is in rotation in the magnetic field. Radius of the disk is given. So uh, frequency is given 20 revolution per second, and radius is given in centimeter. We have to convert it in meters. 30 into 10 to the power minus 2. So we'll write 0.3 meters, and B is 0.20 Tesla. Time interval is given in 1 second. Delta T is 1 second. Now what is to find out? Area swept out in 1 second, that is delta T is 1. Then change in flux has to be find out, that is delta phi in 1 second, and induced EMF. Delta phi is equal to, we know that phi is equal to magnetic field into area. Here change in flux and change in area. E is equal to, if we differentiate phi with respect to time, or change in flux with respect to change in time, we will get the flux. Angular frequency of the disk, that is omega, will find out with this equation, that is omega is equal to 2 pi f, f is equal to 20. So omega is 40 pi radians. Now we'll find out the change in flux. B is, area is pi r square, and area of the disk, that is pi r square, and the part of the area or angular displacement of the disk will write with this. Then area will be half r square delta theta. Here change in area in the revolution and the spinning motion of the disk is half r square delta theta. Now delta A is this, multiply and divide by delta T. So this delta theta by delta T will be omega, delta T as it is. If we multiply and divide to this by delta T, we will get omega over here instead of this delta theta by delta T. Now omega is this. Now use the values. R is the radius, 0.3 square. Omega is 40, just now we calculated it. And pi is 3.142. Omega is 40 pi, so value of pi, and delta T, that is the time, 1 second. So area is 5.65 meter square. Then change in flux you can determine, that is B is 0.20 and area is this. So flux through the area of the disk is 1.130 Webers. Now flux with respect to time is EMF induced in the disk. So 1.130 divided by 1, delta T is 1. Therefore 1.130 volt EMF will be induced in the disk. Now the next example is a search coil having 2000 tons with area 1.5 centimeters square is placed in a magnetic field of 0.60 Tesla. The coil is moved rapidly out of the field in time 0.2 seconds. Calculate the induced EMF across the search coil. Again the same example. Uh, Number of tons 2000. Area of the coil is 1.5 centimeter square. We have to convert it in meters, so it is 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter square. B is 0.60 Tesla and T is equal to 0.2 seconds. So induced EMF has to be find out. uh, we know that E is equal to uh, number of tons, uh, B, and B is the magnetic field, strength of the magnetic field, and area with respect to time. So delta T, delta A by delta T. Use the values and we'll get the EMF induced in the search coil. N is 2000, B is 0.60, and area is change in area with respect to time. Time is 2 seconds and area is 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 4. Initial and final area. So we'll get it is 0.9 volt. Now the next example is an aircraft of wing span of 50 meter flies horizontally in Earth's magnetic field of 6 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla at a speed of 400 meter per second. Calculate the EMF generated between the tip of the wings of the aircraft. So propeller means a fan in front of the aeroplane. Uh, so here the span of the aircraft horizontal in Earth's magnetic field. If it is in motion in Earth's magnetic field, the EMF is induced and that EMF has to be find out over here. So length of the span is 50 meter. B is the strength of the magnetic field and the speed. We have to find out the induced EMF. We know the equation BLV sine theta, horizontal direction, theta will be 90, sine 90 is 1. Use the values and the answer will be this 1.2 volt. 6 into 10 to the power minus 5 magnetic field. Length of the span of the wings of the aeroplane and speed of the aeroplane is 400 meter per second. So EMF induced in the wings span is 1.2 volt. One more example, calculate the value of induced EMF between the ends of an axle of a railway carriage 1.75 meter long traveling on a level ground with a uniform velocity of 50 kilometers per hour. The vertical component of Earth's magnetic field, that is BV, is given. It is 5 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla. Again EMF has to be find out. given is length of the axle, railway carriage, sorry, L is equal to 1.75 meter. Vertical component of earth is given 5 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla, and the speed is given 50 kilometers per hour. So we have to convert it in meter per second. Kilometer per hour, 1000 divided by 60 into 60 will write 5 by 18, and uh, we'll find out the EMF induced in the axle. Again, the formula is E is equal to BLV. B is 5 into 10 to the power minus 5. L is the length of the axle, it is 1.75, and V is 50 into 5 by 18. If we calculate this, we'll get 1 to 1, that is 121.53 into 10 to the power minus 5 Tesla, and by converting it is 1.22 millivolt. So this much amount of EMF will be induced in the axle. So more examples are there, we'll discuss on this topic, but we'll stop here. We'll discuss the example of electromagnetic induction in next lecture. Thank you.